Did you know that 87% of seniors who walk every single day still suffer from life-altering falls that could have been completely prevented by just 3 simple movements? If you are over 65, you have likely been told that walking is the gold standard for staying healthy. But I am here to tell you a truth that most people ignore until it is too late. Walking is giving you a false sense of security while your muscles quietly disappear. Every surgeon, physiotherapist, and mobility researcher knows that while walking is great for your heart, it does almost nothing to stop the aggressive muscle wasting that targets your legs as you age. If walking alone worked, we wouldn't see millions of active older adults struggling to get out of a car or feeling their knees wobble on a flight of stairs. But here's the twist that no one is talking about. The very activity you think is saving you might be masking a dangerous decline in the exact muscles you need to stay independent. Wait until you see why your daily stroll is failing your hips and knees, because the real secret to staying out of a wheelchair isn't more miles. It's 3 specific, surgeon-approved signals you need to send to your nervous system today. You might be wondering how something as healthy as walking could possibly be insufficient, but the reality is that after age 65, your body begins to prioritize certain muscle fibers over others, and walking simply doesn't reach the fast-twitch fibers that prevent falls. Most people miss this critical distinction, believing that if they are moving, they are strengthening. This is the walking paradox, and it is the reason why many seniors who walk 3 miles a day still find themselves unable to stand up from a low sofa without using their hands. Surgeons see the aftermath of this every week in the operating room. Patients with healthy hearts but paper-thin leg muscles that can no longer support their frame. If you've ever felt a sudden momentary loss of balance or noticed that your steps are becoming shorter and more of a shuffle, that is your body crying out for a type of strength that a flat sidewalk can never provide. Comment yes if you've noticed your balance isn't what it used to be, because acknowledging this is the first step toward reclaiming the strength of your 40s. Don't skip ahead, because the game-changing tip that connects your calf strength to your heart health comes in just a few minutes. The first movement you must master is the chair sit to stand, which is widely considered the single most important indicator of longevity and independence for anyone over the age of 65. Think of this as the independence test. If you cannot rise from a standard chair without using your arms for leverage, your risk of needing long-term care in the next 5 years increases by over 50%. This movement targets the quadriceps, glutes, and core in a way that walking never will. When you walk, you are essentially using momentum to move forward, but when you stand up from a chair, you are fighting gravity with 100% of your body weight. To do this correctly, sit on a sturdy chair, keep your feet shoulder width apart, and try to rise while keeping your chest proud and your hands folded across your chest. If you find this difficult, it is a sign that your power muscles have been neglected, but the good news is that these muscles are like a sleeping giant. They can be woken up at any age. I once had a patient named Margaret who at 74 couldn't get out of her favorite armchair without help. After just 3 weeks of focusing on this specific movement, she was standing up with ease and even taking the stairs 2 at a time. This is the power of functional strength over simple movement. But here is where it gets even more interesting. Most people think their legs start at their hips, but surgeons will tell you that your mobility actually starts in your calves, often called the second heart. This leads us to our second exercise, the heel raise. Your calves are responsible for the toe-off phase of walking, which is what propels you forward and keeps you from shuffling. As we age, these are often the first muscles to atrophy, leading to that heavy-footed walk that makes you more likely to trip over a rug or a curb. Walking only uses about 20% of your calf's potential, but a slow, controlled heel raise uses nearly 100%. By standing near a wall and rising onto your toes for a count of 2, then lowering for a count of 4, you are reinforcing the brakes and shocks of your body. Most people miss step number 3 because they think calf raises are just for athletes, but I'll explain why this specific move is the secret to reducing fall risk by 30% almost overnight. If you experience cramping or weakness during this, it's a sign your circulation needs this movement more than ever. Try lifting your heels right now as you listen. Do you feel that tightness? That is the feeling of a muscle that is ready to grow. Now we must address the shifting center of gravity, which is the primary cause of hip fractures in the elderly. This brings us to the third and final exercise, the standing knee lift or the high march. One of the biggest problems surgeons see is hip flexor weakness. When these muscles at the front of your hip get weak, your feet stay closer to the ground and you start to shuffle. Shuffling is the silent killer of mobility because it makes every uneven surface a potential catastrophe. Walking on a flat surface doesn't require you to lift your knees high, so those muscles eventually turn off. By performing a standing march, holding onto a counter and lifting one knee toward your chest, you are retraining your brain and your hips to clear obstacles safely. Imagine the difference between a car with low clearance and an off-road vehicle. The knee lift turns you into that off-road vehicle capable of navigating stairs, curbs, and cracked sidewalks with total confidence. If you feel a pinch in your hip, do not stop. Simply lower the height of the lift and focus on the stability of your standing leg. This is where the real secret comes in. The strength of your standing leg during this exercise is actually more important for balance than the leg you are lifting. You might be thinking, I'm too old to start building muscle, but the science says otherwise. Research from Harvard and the Mayo Clinic has proven that even people in their 90s can double their leg strength in as little as 12 weeks through these types of resistance movements. Your body is not failing you. It is simply waiting for the right instructions. Walking is like maintaining the paint on a house, while these 3 exercises are like reinforcing the foundation and the load-bearing walls. If you only do the paint job, the house will still eventually crumble. To see results, you don't need a gym or fancy equipment. You just need 10 minutes 3 times a week. Focus on quality over quantity. If you can only do 3 repetitions today, do them perfectly. By next week, you will do 5. By next month, you will be the person that others look at and wonder, how do they move so gracefully at that age? The real secret to aging is that we don't stop moving because we grow old. We grow old because we stop moving in the ways that matter. Now, I want to give you a specific plan because information without action is useless. Start tomorrow morning. 10 chair stands, 15 heel raises, and 10 knee lifts per side. Do this before you go for your daily walk. Think of it as priming the engine before you take the car out for a drive. Within just 14 days, you will notice that your walk feels lighter, your knees feel more supported, and that nagging fear of a trip or a stumble starts to fade into the background. If you've ever felt like your legs were heavy at the end of the day, this routine will change your life. Save this guide for the step-by-step breakdown whenever you feel your motivation slipping. If you found this helpful, watch our next video on the 5 anti-inflammatory foods that rebuild joint cartilage for even deeper insights into staying pain-free. Subscribe for part 2, where I reveal the 30-second balance challenge that every surgeon uses to check their patient's neurological health. Your independence is your most valuable asset. Don't let it slip away because you were busy walking in circles when you should have been standing tall.